At Bath Savings, you know us for our exceptional customer service. And that service extends to our secure online and mobile banking solutions, so you can feel comfortable accessing and managing your accounts wherever you are. And it's all backed by the same personalized customer service from neighbors right here in your community. To learn more about Bath Savings online and mobile banking solutions, visit bathsavings.com. Bath Savings, your neighbor, your bank.
Hager Enterprises, a paving and excavation contractor specializing in all sorts of site work, utility installations, and road construction since 1987.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of High School Hoops. I'm your host, Larry Seidling, and we got some special people in the studio today as we have some of the guys from the Lincoln Academy, this year's 2025 high school basketball team. And guys, thanks for taking a little time. Season's ended, unfortunately, but you put up a heck of a run. The first one here is E.J. Hunt. We got Tyson Ball, one of the captains of the Lincoln Academy Eagles this year. Chase Coffin next to him, another captain of this year's team, and Drew Hunt, starting guard on this year's Lincoln Academy team. So, guys, let's get right to it. Had a great year. Did you do as well as you thought you was going to, or did you exceed expectations? I'll go with you, EJ.
I definitely think that a lot of people count us out this year. A lot of people, we lost a lot of seniors, but I think our team, we believe we could make a run and have a good playoff push. So I think we definitely met some of our expectations. Want to get that second round of the playoffs at least, and we lost to a better team, but I think definitely met my expectations. So I was happy.
How about you, Drew?
I think we overachieved. I mean, we lost all 5 starters and 2 of our 8-man rotation too. We had pretty much a brand new group. We came in, we went to a triple overtime. Now, a lot of people watching the game.
We're going to talk about that in a minute.
If you know
my heart ain't recovered yet.
Yeah. It was tense, but it was also pretty sloppy. If you watched the game, it was pretty sloppy throughout the entire thing. But even still, I mean, we came in, lost all our stars, and still got at least one playoff win. So that was a pretty awesome experience. I think we met expectations. I hope so.
How about for you, Chase? You and Tyson captains. Your expectations for this team?
We definitely lost a few games that we shouldn't have. We had a few injuries towards the end of the season, sickness, but I feel like past that, we still met expectations of what our team was to be, losing all those kids.
And Tyson, you get a chance to not only play the game, you get a chance to talk about it on the way home. As a guy who coached his son in high school and grade school, you get a chance to talk about it 24/7.
All the time.
What was your thoughts on going into the season and what you accomplished?
Well, we wanted to exceed expectations, right? We lost 5 starters. We really wanted to be 13-5, somewhere in there, and we were looking like we were going to go 14-4, and we were kind of pushing, but we ended up 12-6 regular season, and those few couple games we had, Terry Welly sprains his ankle, gets hurt in a Belfast game, and I think even in that Erskine game, he would have helped. They're a bigger team. And
you weren't playing 6-on-5 in the Erskine?
Yeah, well, that was a tricky one. But
that's another story.
Yeah, but no, I think we gave it all we had, definitely, and we sure made some mistakes, but we had fun.
You guys have been playing basketball together for how long?
Oh, God.
12, 13 years?
3rd grade, 4th grade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you look at it now and say, damn, it's all over?
There's definitely an aspect to that. I mean, we obviously are going to miss it. I mean, I think it hasn't quite sunk in for us yet because it's so fresh. But I think definitely, a couple weeks down the road, a couple years, maybe way down the road, we're going to look back and go, man, it's all over. We had our chance, and we had a good run at it. It was fun, but it's over now. It's definitely kind of, I don't think it's sunk in yet is the biggest thing.
Too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drew and I went and watched Camden Messalonsky last night in
That was a good
Augusta.
game.
It was a great game, and we were sitting there watching, and we're getting all excited in the playoff game, and we're like, well, that's not us anymore. So, it's pretty weird.
I think too, kind of talked about it of like no regrets. I mean, we had a good season. We met expectations. So I think it's sad. It's over. But I think we had. I've played in 7 playoff games. From freshman year now, and a lot of kids don't make it 1 or 2. So very thankful for all those experiences, and it was a great run, some great boys. So I was definitely very happy.
Chase, you came on at the end of the year there, hit some big threes, had some big games there. Your thoughts?
I agree with Drew. It really hasn't sunken in yet. I think my mind is thinking like, where do we go from here? Because like, we always spring ball, fall ball, summer ball. I don't think that's hit me yet though.
What's going to fill the void this spring? You're not going to be playing spring basketball. You're not going to Mount Desert to play basketball.
Yeah.
Here in another week or 2.
Well, I think the biggest thing me and Tyson are looking forward to is either cruises or or jet skis in the summer. That's a big one for us.
Water sports.
That's right.
There's so many experiences that like we couldn't have because Ryan Ball would be going, "Don't you do? You can't do that. Not for basketball season." So
No skiing.
Like I've never gone skiing in my life. So I think this weekend I'm gonna go skiing for the first time in my life. So as much as we're gonna miss basketball, there's a lot of things we've missed out on that we get to enjoy now because
Well, you can ask your captain what it's like walking around with a cast in your or on crutches. That was a pretty. I want to back up just a little bit. I was at that game last year. That was a pretty devastating injury. It took a long time to come back from that.
Yes.
And do you still feel 100% yet?
Well, no, actually, we played York at our home, and I ended up tearing my meniscus there. So I still have some more recovery from that. So it's never ending, it seems like. But
big boy, big countries.
that's right.
Yeah. So let's talk about, we got a game coming up here tomorrow, and as this thing's running, going to be played on Monday night, a week away. But just your thoughts. You played York early in the season. How's it going to go, York and Madomic?
It's definitely a battle of offense versus defense. I think this is going to be the first team that Madomic's going to face that's faster pace on offense. But I think this is going to be the best defensive team that York's played all season. So it's going to be kind of like a toss-up, I think, because I think it's going to be an offense versus defense, a battle of offense versus defense.
Tempo? Who controls tempo?
Fast tempo, definitely fast.
Yeah. My take on it, I think, is if Madomic can slow the almost out of control tempo that York plays at, it's going to play in there. Because Spruce did that the other night. And Spruce didn't have the firepower that Madomic does as far as guys that can shoot the three and whatnot. Talk to us a little bit for the folks at home. What's the commitment? I'll go with you, Tyson, because you live it 24/7. What's the commitment level to play high school basketball?
Oh, it's just all the time, right? You have to think it. You have to be playing it. You have to do it outside of practice. You have to be doing it all the time, right? When I'm not playing, we're at a 5-6 game. We're at a 3-4, 7-8. It's just all the time. You have to wrap yourself mentally in a sport that it takes mental toughness to be a good player. The best players are the ones that make the good, smart decisions, make the smart plays. So I believe the game is, you have to be physically able, but the game is a lot of mental, you have to be mentally prepared.
So Chase, I'll ask you the same question because these two guys are twins. They get a chance to talk about it with each other all the time.
Right.
He's got his old man beating in his ear all the time. You don't have that.
No, I got my close friends on the team like Aiden, these guys, Terry. We talk about it a lot. We go to the gym a lot, get up shots, as many shots as we can throughout the week. Constantly talking about it, filling our brains with it.
Almost to a fault, I think, because if Coach watches this, he'll even say, we sometimes overanalyze and overthink things because we'll talk about it throughout the week and go, man, I've got a plan. And it's like Coach goes, nope, I've got the plan. We're going to stick to it. So
Yeah.
It's definitely a bit of a toss-up there. But
He doesn't. This isn't governed by committee. It's more of a dictatorship.
yeah.
Tyson, you understand that?
Yeah, well, we put in plenty of input. Don't worry. We all get our, if we want something done or we think something should be adjusted, everybody gets their input in. But Dad has the last decision. He's the head coach, and he's done a great job.
He's also a good listener. Like, he can text us after the games or after practice asking, like, what we could do better or, like, what we could do next practice to work on, you think. Just little things like that build up and what make us a good team.
Unless you're wearing a striped shirt, he doesn't listen too good to those guys. I will ask you, EJ, you said you played 7 tournament games. What's it like going on the expo floor with that crowd screaming at you? Last year's crowd was even more vocal than this year's crowd, obviously. But what's it like going on that expo floor?
I think the expo is awesome. You know, I've been in the Civic Center. You know, I've been up to the Bangor, the Cross Insurance Arenas. There's 2 of them. You know, and I think the expo it's awesome because there's no bad seat in the place. You know, you can get a great place to watch, and so fans are all there. You know, I know us in Madomic, we travel well. We got a lot of fans to come down and watch us. So I definitely think that expo is my favorite court. And like I said, you know, 7 games there. We've had some nail biters, had a few. So I'm definitely it's been an awesome experience going down there. I love it. It's awesome.
How about you, Drew?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I mean, like when Tucker Stiles hit those 2 free throws to beat Spruce, would have been our sophomore year. I mean, that was incredible. I mean, I was sitting on the bench. I'm like, oh no, it's over. He's gonna miss one. He comes out. I mean, he was cool as a cucumber. Comes out, hits the first one. I'm like, oh my gosh, we might go to overtime on this one. And then he hit the second one. We went crazy. And Tucker comes to the bench and says, I knew it was going in. We're all like, bull crap. You didn't know that.
Can we bleep that out?
Yeah, but he did great. He hit those free throws, and you know we ended up winning in overtime. And it's just one of those memories I'll have for a lifetime. You know, just thinking back on that.
So I'm going to go to this next question for the 2 captains to start with. I had the pleasure of calling that triple overtime game that happened a few nights ago. What took you guys 29 and a half minutes to decide to play basketball? The way you can play basketball.
Well, I feel like it was two like good teams going at it. No one really wanted to lose. It was just the fact who wanted it more at the end of it.
We missed quite a few shots. We took a long time to get started on offense. You know, it seems like we're down on offense, you know, quarter by quarter. Took a while. It took to the second half to really come out strong in offense and get back into the game where we were down anyway by half. Our defense, though, I think really is what kept us in it. I mean, we held number 11, which we believed was one of their best players. EJ did a great job on him, but you know, number 1 kind of got out of hand. He had quite a few points, so.
We had a guy number
everything.
4 came off the bench that had some big shots for you.
Yes,
late in the
Rowan.
game.
Yeah.
Rowan had some huge shots there. I thought he really turned it up a notch.
Yeah, definitely. He you know, runs this one play, and Dad hates it. You know, and he told us, he said, your father's going to hate this, but he says, we're going to run it. And Rowan came out and he hit the 3, and that was the turning point in that 3rd overtime that really pushed us over.
What was the fatigue level going into you guys all played a lot of minutes that game. What was the fatigue level by the time that 3rd overtime came? Was you even thinking about, man, this can't go? Because I was thinking 4 overtimes and I'm done. I'm going to shut the TV off, we'll pull the plug on the mics, we're done. So, I mean, what was the fatigue level? I mean, you guys are in great shape, you're young and whatnot, but you played almost you did play another half of basketball.
Let's say I got the privilege, I guess if you want to call it that, to play every minute. And I know my dad told me before the game, he said, you know, it's probably going to be a tough game. He said save for the 4th, and I didn't think it was going to overtime, but it did. So I think definitely you get that second overtime, and like I'm sitting there, I'm gassed, you know, I'm chugging, Megan's bringing me water and everything, so definitely tired. But like I said, Rowan stepped up big, and I mean, one thing, you know, he doesn't get talked about as much, but he probably puts in, I'd say, the most work of anyone on our team. You know, he's always at the wall, he's shooting around. So it was awesome seeing him have a moment like that because he deserves it. You know, he's putting so much time.
Big moment. Big moment. And I will tell you, knowing the situation where your dad couldn't coach that day, and Coach Maker was going to, well, that's quite a present. If I ever had a chance to coach a game, one game in my life, triple overtime and win, I'm all done. I'm retiring. I'm all done. I'm going to go out and win. That's as good as winning the world championship. But I was going to say, you guys gave him a pretty good send-off in the locker room afterwards. Tell the folks at home a little bit about what happened in their special, Tyson.
You know, of course, the circumstances weren't great, but Rand did a fantastic job. You know, we scrimmaged Camden, and then we were getting used to him, and then of course the Yarmouth game, he just did a great job. And after the game, we got in there, and I was standing kind of so he could see me, but nobody else could see him. So I was letting him know that he was coming, and when he came around the corner, we sprayed him with water and
He put the water bottles
oh,
in a ninja.
big time. Yeah,
I did see some video clips of that, and that was pretty cool.
yeah. He I don't know if he was expecting it. He knew where it was quiet. It wasn't,
It
gonna
wasn't
be good. But
So, was that your first triple overtime interview you'd ever played before?
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah, that was first ever triple. I think we've been in overtime a few times.
Yeah.
Maybe one double overtime, but never triple
Never
overtime.
triple.
That was the first
I don't know if
one.
I've seen that in the.
I will say, knowing the situation, like I said earlier, that your dad couldn't coach that day, the last guy to hold the basketball in triple overtime was Big Country right here. And I said on the TV, I said, this is poetic justice right here. Poetic justice. Tyson's got the basketball, and nobody taking it away from him. He's a big guy. He had both mitts around that thing, and he was just hanging on.
That's right.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
That was, yeah. My dad said that to me as soon as the game ended. He goes, it ended, the perfect hands ended. And I was like, and he said, I would have loved to see if he ran over the Rand and handed it to Rand too. So he got a piece of the action too. But yeah, I think it felt great for him because he worked so hard to get back to where we could be in a spot like that. And then Rand too. I mean, Rand's one of those coaches where it's like in practice he gives it to you. If Ryan's got something going on, he can't make practice, and Rand's there. He'll hop in layup lines. He'll push on you. He'll block a shot or two. He'll scream in your face, make you really get up in your business and make you work for a little bit. So
Well,
he's
that's
an
what it's
awesome
about.
coach to have, and we're definitely gonna miss him because he's been amazing to us.
What is the future of LA basketball? Folks at home want to know how they're going to be next year. You're losing 10 seniors, I believe. That's a big number. Usually 4 to 6 is the ideal number for high school teams to lose in a year. But you're losing 10. That's a lot of numbers. How does next couple of years look?
Definitely. I think a lot of people thought that we were gonna be bad this year. And obviously that wasn't the case necessarily. And I think it's going to be the same next year where, they have tons of guys. They got, kids like James Hanley, Malachi Faring, Chase Ober, Mike Mitchell, Aiden Herron's coming back off an injury. They have tons of, good players. And I think for them, they're going to be offensively. I think they're going to take off offensively. I think it's more just as the absence of defense, they have to figure out how to fill that void and find players who can step up and, play big minutes and guard really good players and stuff. So, I mean, I think they could definitely be a great team next year. I mean, it's more about if they can figure it out and put the pieces together and, get the details down.
Much like you fellas, to start the year, you didn't know who was going to be the scorer. Last year, you had your 1,000-point scorer, you had Tucker, you knew those guys were going to get a big hoop at time. None of you guys really had a lot of starting minutes that you could come in. So you had to find somebody that was going to score. And Chase, you kind of stepped up and took the lead in the early in the season, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I got a lot of shots up, but as time came, other people stepped up, kind of filled the role as a team. We shared the ball with each other a lot, which kind of helped us win games because ball movement wins games. And everybody found their place.
Yeah, down the stretch, the Twins combined for about 25 points a game. That's a pretty nice stuff, isn't it, Tyson?
Yes.
To the coach on the bench, on the floor. He is kind of a coach on the floor, isn't he? Is he talking to you?
He always, sometimes if we get flustered or something like that, he always goes, "Hey, calm down, relax. We're gonna get through this." And he gives input on defense. If we're screwing up a rotation, obviously him and coach, they're thick as thieves and they know what's going on. So if the rotation's off or something like that, he can really be like, "Hey, hedge a little more, slide over the basket line, fill your spot a little better." So he's awesome to have on the court. He keeps everyone calm. He controls the tempo for us.
I think too, my grandfather used to say that 2 heads are better than one, even one's a cabbage. He kind of jokingly said that. But I think what's awesome about Tyson is, him and Ryan can bounce ideas off each other. And that's awesome because, if Ryan has a question about something or he needs a second opinion, Tyson's right there for him. Or if Tyson, they can help each other out. So I think, that's one thing that's going to be a lot different, I think, for Ryan next year coaching is, he's not going to have Tyson in his ear all the time to help him and just bounce ideas off of. So I think it's going to be an adjustment, but I think that's one of the great things that Tyson brought this team over the, really, how long have you been with your dad? I mean, quite a few years. So that's one of the things that his best qualities.
He's big enough you're going to listen to him. You're not going to argue with him. Tyson, you've had a chance to do all the Pee-wee programs and all that. What's your future going to be?
I'm not really sure. I've been with Dad they were telling me the other day, since I was 2 years old, I've been sitting on the bench, with them, so it's been a long time. I was thinking the other day, Cody Tozier, 1,000-point scorer under Dad, and I watched him become a player, and then now he's sitting on the bench with Dad.
Outstanding young coach.
And done a great job with the freshman program, and he's, so it's been a lot of fun watching a lot of groups play, and how different each group is, offensively, defensively. We've seen a lot of good players, and I'm not sure it's going to be
Chase, how about
interesting.
you? What's your future hold?
Like Tyson said, I'm not sure. Obviously, I love basketball. I always come back to it, but I don't think it's the talk of my future. I think I'll just lay back, go to school.
What's your school?
That I don't know either. I'm kind of undecided. It's still a work in progress, but with basketball being over, I think I'm just going to focus on school. I'll find out what I want to do, what I want to be, just pursue that. But basketball will always be a big part of my life. I can always go back to it. Yeah.
How about you, Drew?
So
There's a lumber company up the road looking to hire.
Oh, trust me. I think they'll figure out their void stuff. I'm probably going on the Air National Guard. I'm going to go into boot camp this summer, come back, and then I'm going to go to University of Augusta on a pre-dental track, so I'll be a dentist. And for basketball-wise, I'll probably, you'll probably see me at 40 years old, messing around with the young bucks down at the YMCA, playing some basketball. But
Father Time may have something to say about that.
if the knees hold up, we'll see. Maybe I can, play a few games, maybe play some men's league with some older guys too. But no, it's been an awesome chapter of my life. But I'm definitely ready to try some new things and go out and
I think one thing on that too is it's really cool because community and we're small towns, Midcoast Maine. That's one of the best parts about it is you're gonna have numbnut over here, 40 years old, helping out with the kids, and that's the awesome thing is the community's there around you. So that's one of the best things about being in a small Midcoast town. Madomic, Lincoln, Oceanside, all these towns is really cool.
What's your future, EJ?
Well, him and I, we're heading up to the EMCC. We're doing electrical engineering program. We're kind of get into that. So I think it's a different chapter. We'll definitely up in Bangor, some cool teams, basketball teams we'll probably check out. So it's going to be a fun new chapter. It's different, but I think we're going to have fun. It'll be
So
exciting.
in a few years, there's going to be Ball and Hunt Electrical Company around here?
Maybe.
Could be.
If your house burns down, you know who it was.
What is your thoughts as the Midcoast Maine? We have really become a hotbed of basketball here, and you folks have been part of it. What's your thoughts on that? I mean, you got Camden, Oceanside, you guys, Madomic, even Wiscasset boys is starting to come back a little bit.
Belfast.
Belfast. That wasn't good going up there and taking it on the nose up there.
Nope.
Not a fun experience. They've completely turned around their program. I mean, they had obviously Ripley is a big part of that, but
Both Ripleys.
both Ripleys, and number 13, Kelvin Benjamin. I didn't even heard of him. He's a great player for them. He's gonna be missed next year for sure. But the dad's coaching now. They've totally turned that thing around, and they're good defensively. They run a smart possession-based offense. They're gonna be a good team for a couple of years to come. They're very good.
Yeah, the Ripley kid's only a sophomore. So
He's huge.
He's a big boy.
Oh yeah.
He is big country.
Yeah, he's a lot bigger.
I think
Bigger
too,
than me.
when you taste a little success, when we beat Spruce at the Expo, we kind of start believing that you can be a good team. I think they got the playoffs, they won a prelim game, so they got some belief that they can be a good team. They got some winning culture now, so I think that the next few years, as Ripley going to be older and there's some other players who are going to step up, and they got some other young freshmen, sophomores, so I think they got a little taste of that success, and I think that's going to really want to push them to be better. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how
They got a little taste of success. It started in the season because they beat you guys at the end of the year. And they also beat the nemesis just down the road, who really gave it to them pretty good the year before. How sweet do you think that was?
Oh, awesome. I mean, I remember the first time we beat Madomic in our cruise at least was last year at their place on their senior night. And I mean,
How was that?
At Cloud 9, it was, we'd always beat them when we were younger just because, to be fair, we had his dad as a coach. I mean, most elementary and middle school teams don't have a great high school basketball coach as their coach, so we always kind of had upper hand. So, we always beat them. Then we got to high school, and of course, everyone grows, gets bigger. Obviously, Gabe Lash is what he is now, and, Mason Gwynn is what he is now. And, they're tall, big, and athletic players. So we were kind of, irking for a win. We hadn't gotten one, our entire time we'd faced. We lost them twice freshman year, lost them twice sophomore year. But last year to get that win, it was amazing.
And last year, it was early in the season when Mahomet came to Lincoln, and I think everybody thought LA was this was going to be the time.
Yeah.
And laid an egg that day.
Christian Schumann came
Christian
out.
Schumann came out.
Sniper, yeah. He had
Yeah.
18 points in the first quarter and a half, 2 quarters, so he played really good in that game. But that, I think what was awesome about that is we lost that game, but that really put a little sting in the season.
I was just saying, that was an eye-opener, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Bear down time.
It definitely gave us, more of an edge. We went there and said, even though it's their place, their senior night, we're gonna try and get back at them. So
And you did.
And we did. Yeah.
And that was a big win for Coach Ball too. He had never beaten Mahomet. I don't think in his whole coaching career, had he, Tyson? Not in the regular season.
I don't
anyway.
believe.
And I don't think he had either. And and Lincoln hadn't won in a long time. So that was a really big thing.
The Patsy Magic, that's what it is.
Yeah, well, Coach Patsy's a pretty good coach. He's a tough man to beat in his own building, let alone anywhere else. So,
Right.
so kudos to you guys for doing that. Any other thoughts you guys might have of being a Lincoln Academy Eagle varsity basketball player? What's it meant to you all through your high school career?
Well, I think it's a privilege to be able to, I played 4 years of varsity, I've known a lot of people that have done that, and I think it's a privilege. I don't think a lot of people understand that when you get on a varsity team, right, that's a privilege, If you're a swinger from a junior varsity team to varsity, that's a privilege to be able to be there and have that experience. We've got sophomores on our team that got to play minutes on a playoff game, that should hold some, that it's just pretty cool for them to be able to.
You can certainly
have
walk
that.
down the halls of LA and hold your head high
Yeah.
with what you accomplished this year, because I agree with you. I had you picked at maybe 10-8, 11-7 for the year, so you exceeded that. I will tell you, the first 3 quarters of Yarmouth, I did not think it was going to go well for the Eagles. And I'm trying to call this game and stay positive. And when we had timeout, I kept saying to my sidekick, Phil Carlson, I said, Phil, this isn't going good. This isn't going good. But it was like about 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and all of a sudden it just turned. Roan got hot. I think you hit a big shot there in halfway through the fourth quarter too, and it just the whole momentum kind of shifted, and you got into a tie. And I'll honestly say that I thought in overtime, I never thought it'd go 3. I thought you guys were the better team all 3 4-minute periods. And it took until the last 15 seconds of the third period to prove that. But hats off to Yarmouth. They had a great team, great season too. So any closing thoughts before we wrap this up?
I was going to say one thing. I think it's going to be exciting to see, now that losing 10 seniors, it's been a long time since we've had these new young, kids coming up, and they're going to have these roles, when we were freshmen, right, we had the sophomores game above us, so our roles, we couldn't, be a scorer, be a leading scorer and stuff, but, now that we're gone, it's going to be awesome to see some of these kids, I think James Hanley, I think of, you have Aiden and all these guys, they're going to have a chance to fill these new roles and see what they can do, so I think it's going to be a fresh breath of air and be excited to see what they can do. You
guys going to lace them up and take on next year's team, or, just to show them what it's all about?
I don't know about that. But I think it has been nice, too, just to, when we came in, it wasn't a pretty situation. I think the year before.
Sure wasn't.
We went, was it 0-16 2 years before we came in?
Yeah, somewhere.
It just
COVID year.
It wasn't a pretty sight. So we came in with the group above us, and Gabe and Tucker, them were all phenomenal and stuff. And we got to see what it was like when we were bad, and got to see what it was like when we were good, and just to see the contrast and to be there through the lows and the highs, it was really cool to experience that too.
Turn around the program, which is awesome.
Exactly.
Good stuff. Well, guys, our time is running out. It has run out. I want to thank Drew Hunt, Captain Chase Coffin, Captain Tyson Big Country Ball, and EJ Hunt. Folks, we hope you've enjoyed as much as I have sitting down. We thank the Lincoln Academy Eagles boys basketball team. Had a great season, wound up at 13-7. Played in the semifinal at the Expo. Pretty darn good. So thanks, guys, for coming in.
Thanks.
Folks,
Thank
we
you,
hope
Larry.
you've enjoyed it as much as I have. And We're going to be back here another Monday. We'll be at High School Hoops, and maybe we'll have a surprise for you. Stay tuned. Catch us next time. Thanks for watching.
At Bath Savings, you know us for our exceptional customer service. And that service extends to our secure online and mobile banking solutions. So you can feel comfortable accessing and managing your accounts wherever you are. And it's all backed by the same personalized customer service from neighbors right here in your community. To learn more about Bath Savings online and mobile banking solutions, visit bathsavings.com. Bath Savings, your neighbor, your bank.
Hager Enterprises, a paving and excavation contractor specializing in all sorts of site work, utility installations, and road construction since 1987.